Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Tracy. On my channel you'll see a bunch of different content, from clean with me's to things I'm doing around the house to mommy talk, and today is going to be kind of one of those videos. Today I'm going to be doing my birth story and I'm going to be sharing that. If you didn't know, I have 3 children. I'm going to share each one's birth story individually. So today's birth story is going to be my 21-year-old daughter. Her name is Kayla. I'm really excited to share it with you guys, so let's get started. So I'm outside today, as you can see. If you hear a lot of beating and banging in the background, we are actually in the middle of putting up a pool in the backyard. So I'm out here kind of hanging out with everybody, but I thought I would share the birth story while we're sitting here. To tell you a little bit of a backstory on my 21-year-old, I actually got married pretty young, around 18 years old. I know that's super young. And I got pregnant with Kayla and had her a week before I was gonna turn 19. Crazy. Now Kayla is from a previous marriage. She is not my current husband's child. So I did want to get that out of the way for some people that did not know that. So unfortunately, during my pregnancy with Kayla, my marriage did not work out. And I had to end up moving back in with my mom and dad, which was not a horrible thing at all. It wasn't bad. And when I was living at home with my mom and dad, I actually got put on bed rest. The last, probably I would say 2 months of my pregnancy, I was suffering from high blood pressure, and they wanted me to really go on bed rest because it was just showing really high risk of my pregnancy, and they didn't want to have to put me in the hospital or anything early. So they said, you know, as long as you'll go on bed rest, lay on my left side, then the only time I could get up was to go to the bathroom and go take my shower. Stayed on bed rest. It was really hard though. I remember going outside, sitting under like our carport area with a chair and just sitting there and thinking that that was good enough. But unfortunately, even doing that would raise my blood pressure. It was really crazy. About 2 weeks before I was actually due to have Kayla, I went in for just a normal checkup. And the lady's like, well, if you want to come back, you can. My best friend drove me there, and we went to the doctor, and the doctor was actually on call at the hospital delivering another child. I was like, okay, no biggie, we'll wait. Or you can actually just wait and see how long it's going to take him to actually get back from the hospital. So I decided to wait because I knew I hadn't been to the doctor in a couple weeks, and I was like, I really need to check, see what my blood pressure is doing. So we did, and shortly after that, the doctor came back and he went in and did my checkup. They did my blood pressure. The first nurse came in, she checked my blood pressure, and she goes, She said, okay, hold on. She walks out. She went and got a different blood pressure machine. She came back in and she checked it again. She goes, okay, take some deep breaths. I was like, okay. She says, are you nervous? I'm like, no. Is everything okay? Nothing, I haven't done anything unusual. She checks it again and she goes, I'll be right back. She goes and gets another nurse to come in and check my blood pressure. So 4th time, I guess, checking it, that lady checks it and goes, you need to call the doctor in here. So the doctor comes in and takes my blood pressure and goes, okay, here's where we're at. Your blood pressure is 240 over 180. She's like, I honestly don't know how you're sitting here talking to me and not feeling weird or passed out or anything. I was like, I'm fine. I feel great. I felt great. I really did. She said, let's go have an ultrasound, see the position of the baby, but you're probably going to be delivering this baby today. And immediately, if my blood pressure wasn't high before, it was through the roof at this point because I was not expecting to go in for birth, okay? I wasn't ready. So we go have our ultrasound. They tell me she's breech, which is upside down for anybody that doesn't know what that means. And I said, what does that mean? Because I was like, okay, great, she's upside down. Let's just go have a baby, whatever. I'm trying to pump myself up for it. And she's like, oh, no, baby. If this thing doesn't turn, you're having a C-section. I was like, what? Now, when you're young, or even if you know you're a little older and you're getting ready to have your first baby, if you haven't done a lot of research, or even if you have, they don't talk a ton about C-sections, or at least they didn't back when I had Kayla. It was on natural birth, you know, Lamaze classes and all that stuff, and how to breathe and how to this and how to push and what it feels like, and that's what I was prepared for. I was not prepared to go under the knife at all. So I'm like, okay, so we go in and talk to my doctor, and she tells me that we're going in for a C-section. We're gonna have this baby out, you know, within like the hour I'd have a baby. And I'm like, really? So I go call my parents. I call my mom. My dad had left to go see my brother in a whole nother city because he was thinking everything was fine, everything was great. I was good. So I call mom and I'm like, Mom, I'm going in to have the baby. She's like, what? I said, yeah, I'm going to have her. or have the baby. At this point, I didn't even know what I was having. I had 3 ultrasounds up to this last one. The 4th ultrasound, I asked them would they please go and look and see if they could see what I was having. At that point, they still couldn't. Kayla had her legs like crisscrossed applesauce and you couldn't see anything. So we had no idea. Was it a boy, was it a girl? We go to the hospital. My mom calls my dad to tell him, Tracy's going in to have the baby. You need to get home. So he's heading home, running, I'm sure, 100 miles an hour to get back, because he was already super nervous about my pregnancy anyway. We go to the hospital, and it was the most whirlwind experience I've ever had in my life. And what I mean by that is, as soon as I got to the hospital, they rushed me up to the operating area, like the labor delivery floor. We get up there. I have got people now, just imagine, because they're trying to do this so quick because of my blood pressure. Imagine you're in a room, they literally bring you in, they are undressing you. You're not even getting to do it yourself. I had one nurse taking off my jewelry, one nurse taking off my shoes, my pants, another one trying to get the gown put on me. Like, it was that quick. The hair thing, I mean, it was really fast. And on top of that, I don't know where my mom's at, 'cause she was gonna be in there with me. Come to find out, she's in the restroom, like changing into her scrubs. I have got nurses all around. I've got one waiting to like shave me, sanitize, do all that stuff they do. I've got other people over there getting ready to do IVs and check my blood and like do a catheter and like, it's just a lot. It was a lot. It was not pleasant whatsoever because it was just so rushed. And thinking back to it, it just brings back all those memories talking about it, of how scary it was. I'm laying in the bed and all I kept saying is, where's my mom? Where's my mom? You know, I want my mom. And here she comes out the bathroom and she's like, I'm here. I honestly thought she was a nurse. I did, because she had on the whole gear, face mask, everything. I thought it was another nurse in the room. She goes, I'm right here, I'm right here. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you, I'm so glad you're here. After all that, they wheel me off. I remember them throwing the like warm blankets on me and they wheel me off. We're going to the operating room. So we get in there and I remember having to get my epidural, which if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a numbing medicine they put into your back. And that way you don't feel anything, but you can stay awake during your birth, which is pretty cool. It was not pleasant at all to me. So I get in there and they're like, okay, I need you to lean over, hug this person, and we're gonna go ahead and do your epidural. I was so nervous. They gave me epidural, I laid down, and immediately my legs started feeling super, super heavy. And I didn't like the feeling, of course. So I started panicking. I'm not gonna lie, I started freaking out. I'm like, y'all gotta do something. I don't like this feeling. I was like freaking out. The guy goes, I'm gonna help you out. He gave me something to relax me. And after that, I was good. So I remember being in there. It didn't seem like I was in there 10 minutes, but once I laid down, I was fully numb. They performed the surgery, the C-section, got the baby out, and all I could think of is going, what is it? What is it? Is it a boy? Is it a girl? What is it? And the lady looks at me and goes, it's a girl. I said, what? I wanted a girl so bad, you don't even understand. I guess for just that mother-daughter bonding, you know. And I was like really, really, really wanting a girl. So I was super excited when they told me it was a girl. My mom was crying, I started crying. It was amazing. So after that, they kind of, you know, wheeled her off to go show her to my friends, my family members that were waiting out in the hallway. That's pretty much all I remember, because after that, it was just kind of like a blur. I remember leaving the operating room, going back to my recovery area, and just waiting for everything to wake back up, you know, for all the medicine to wear off. And once it did, I felt great. I felt really good. So I remember going back to the room, and then they brought me the baby, and then that was my first real memory of being completely awake and being able to hold her. They brought her over to me in the operating room, but I was so out of it that I just remember being like, hey baby, and that was it. It was that. That's the faint of a memory I have. And for those of you that did not know, I've actually had a C-section with all 3 babies. So Kayla was definitely the one to break me into what was gonna happen, how it was gonna go. And things were a lot different when it came down to Briley, and a lot different from Briley to Aiden. So I can't wait to share those stories as well with you guys. I will say that I don't know what it's like to have natural childbirth. I would have loved to experience that. And I hate that that was kind of taken away from me, but I understand you gotta do what's best for your baby. And what was best for Kayla was a C-section, and what was best for me was a C-section, just to get her out really quick. I don't regret having the C-section at all. It was Some of the births were pleasant, some were not. Kayla's was not pleasant going into it because it was such a rush. The actual procedure was not that bad. The after was hard. Healing from a C-section is really hard. You can't cough, you can't move, you can't walk. It takes a long time for that to feel more natural. But like I said, guys, I can't wait to share the rest of my birth stories with you. I hope you enjoyed this one. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you're not. Make sure you have your post notifications on. If you enjoyed hearing about my birth story, give this video a thumbs up to show some support. Also, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you guys had your babies natural or did you have them C-section. Let me know. I'd love to know down below. So anyway, I'll see you guys in my next video.